Hi guys, Mickey here, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Well, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Firstly, this video is about 3 survival bags. It's my everyday carry bag, my car bag, and I've thrown together very quickly a long-term survival bag and threw into it some ideas and some methods and some techniques that may be of interest to you for a long-term survival situation. However, some of these methods some people may find a bit disturbing or a bit uncomfortable, so I'll add that a warning there. I will also say that some of these techniques should not be used in anything other than a genuine survival situation. Okay, they're not to be used just for the fun of using it. Act responsibly and be responsible. I will also point out that there is an air rifle shown in this video, and I do discuss using the air rifle for small game. Okay, so guys, please don't be shocked, please don't be surprised, please enjoy the video, and again, please like, subscribe, share. It does help us and it gives me the encouragement to keep moving forward with this, and yeah, please enjoy it. This is Mickey. Have a great day. Enjoy the video. Mickey out. What's the first rule? First rule is win up the woods, get the coffee on. Now, going to use a little tiny fox stove today. Okay, so there we go, little tiny stove. And today I'm going to run that on hexamine. Trying its little slots. And yeah, it takes a little bit of pressure to set it up. The idea is then once it's done, it's quite rigid. I've had a couple of guys say to me, oh, it's a bit tight. Yeah, it's supposed to be a bit tight, guys, purely simply because that's what holds it together, is just the spring pressure of the steel. Okay, simple as that. So there's my little stove. There's a bit of hexamine, solid fuel, whatever you want to call it. Slip one of those in there. Because I'm making a coffee, and I know the water's safe, don't need to boil it. I want to heat it to a level where it makes myself a nice drink. I'm going to use a red on from the battle bags. Got sugar. Let's get this hexy lit. There's the hexy lit. Says E. Oh, bloody hexamine. Some water in the pot. Stick the pot on. And yes, I'm using a tin mug, and you can say, but I thought, Mickey, you didn't use tin mugs. Well, if I'm going away and I'm camping, no I don't. I use a plastic mug that doesn't burn my lips. Quick days like this where I want minimal resources, so idea I want one pot that I can make the drink in, drink out of, carrying small, carrying light. Yeah, that's why we're doing it this way. As a rule, if I'm going on a larger camp where I might be using the Kelly kettle, I might be using a stove system, then I'm always going to go with a plastic cup. Right? They tend to be what I would call more relaxed camps, And the downside of that is in a more relaxed camp, you're more likely to burn yourself because you are more relaxed. Okay, so that's the way we look at it. So I'll put instant coffees away for later. My Fig Newton bar can go away for later. Waterproof matches, wet wipes, they all go in that little pocket there. So I know where they are, and I can access them later on if I wish. Okay, the Beavercraft knife, yeah, still being used quite regularly, and is holding up beautifully, absolutely beautifully. Great knife. Yeah, it's on my recommendation list. Any of you are looking for a good, honest bushcraft knife, yeah, Beavercraft from Ukraine. You can get them through UK companies like Heine Hayes and Springfields. Okay, but I would say to you, if you can, get it direct, because at the end of the day, you know all the money then is going back to these guys. Right. And yeah, great knife, easy used, fits the hand beautifully, and yeah, I've only sharpened it once in the time I've had it. I've taken the dangle off the sheath, purely simply because I like it to sit on my belt quite high and quite tight, which means it's discreet, it's under my shirt. Not that I walk around in public like that, but again, when I'm up here in the woods, if I come across somebody that's strolling through the woods, they're not just suddenly seeing this girt big guy walking around with a knife hanging on his hip. It makes it a little bit more discreet and a little bit nicer for people. There we go. Sugar, spoon, coffee. What more could you want? Coffee in the woods, perfect. Whew. I'll get back to you in a bit. So here we are, coffee pad deux. So a little bit of an organise, tidy. There you go. So my water's come to a boil, absolutely dandy, we're happy with that. Take that off the heat, stick it down there, okay. Let it sit for a second or two or a minute or two, let it just come off the boil for the perfect coffee. What you don't want to do is burn your coffee. So it's come off the boil, settling down a little bit. As I said before, beauty of these bags is everything's sealed, everything's nice and tidy, everything's as fresh as it can be. Okay, it's a red-on battle bag, coffee bag, lovely. Straight into my coffee, get a spoon, give it a stir, knock the air out of it. Don't know if everybody else does that, I just got this thing that if I knock the air out of it, it's getting more moisture into it. And that's it, it's as easy as that. Little stove's still going away quite nicely. Put the empty bag or the open bag down to one side, you're going to use that in a minute. Okay, what we'll do is take the Leatherman. Let's just move my little stove to one side out the way. Put that down there. Leatherman way there. So, there we go. Coffee is on. What am I carrying today? I've got the Beavercraft knife with me, the Leatherman with me, that's always with me. But I've also brought out today my Lansky World Legal. That tends to go in my med pack these days and lives in there. And one of the reasons it lives in there is I find that it's actually a very good knife for removing clothing, removing straps, removing gear. If somebody's injured, it's quite safe to use. I can run that under something to cut without risking the person. And it's in my med kit. Being in my med kit, yeah, it's where I know it is when I want it. And if I need it for anything else, I'll go to it. I don't need a main blade with me today. As I said before, I'm carrying the Beavercraft. Okay, that is a brilliant knife. Yeah, comes with a lovely sheath, fits well. We're a couple of months into using that on a regular basis now, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Yes, it means that my old knife is retired after 20 years of use. That's been cleaned up, put to one side, and that's probably going to be more of a heritage piece. That will get kept. After 20 years of use, it will be cleaned up, oiled up, put away, and I will probably give that to one of my sons. Okay, so it's got a lot of adventures we'll have with that. And my sons grew up watching me use it, so I think it'd be nice if that went to one of them. Give that a stir. Lovely. Right, it's a red on, so it is a very strong coffee. So I'm not going to give that the full 4 minutes. In actual fact, I think that's pretty much ready for me now. The nice thing is I can lift my bag out. Lift my bag out. Give that a squeeze. Now, this is one of the things I do like about these. I can take that out. I can put that back in that bag there. It's a foil bag. Fold it over, okay, and it goes away. It goes in my kit to be carried out, but it's not going to make everything wet. It's not going to get everywhere. The other bonus for this, if it was a really cold day, I've now put that hot coffee bag inside this foil bag, okay, and it's giving off heat, so I can use it to warm my fingers. I can put it inside my clothing. I can put it under my armpit to start to to help my circulation. Okay, like I say, so it's a resource. It's a hot coffee bag. Use it. Okay, put it somewhere where you can use it. Right, it works for you. So other than that, okay, don't forget, use every single resource that you can. I'm going to tuck that back in my bag. That will go home with me, and it will go in the rubbish. That's my tips for today. Right guys, sorry about it, it's a bit weird, but hey, had a bit of an issue. So it looks like the footage that I did on the day bag didn't come out as I wanted it to. In actual fact, it came out at double speed and didn't have any audio. So what I'm going to do is go through my day bag here quick with you. So my everyday carry bag is quite simple. A litre of water, a boil in the bag, on this side, sundries pack, sun cream, okay, sanitizer, a little bit of firelight and stuff, some boiled sweets, little items that you want. It's a sundries bag, it's little bits and pieces that you're handy to have with you, might not use all the time. Down in here a bit further, survival shelter bag, and a selection of coffees all ready to go. On the front is an extremely powerful rechargeable torch, okay, and it doesn't have anything other than high, low and medium modes, okay. That's all I want from that, okay. So that basically it's a simple operation. I also have a head torch in there as well, so if I need to see by night I can do. Go to the main section. It's my first aid kit, and as you've seen, my first aid kit is pretty much got everything I need in it. So I'm carrying their meds, I'm carrying minor ailment treatments, and I'm also carrying emergency first aid kit, and that all lives in there, so I won't need to go through that again. On top of that, poncho, simple, folds down light, can be used as a shelter. It's also waterproof, okay, so it's a waterproof jacket, okay. Down below that, 2 army ration buns. Why army ration buns? Well, I know they're not the best thing in the world for you, but they're full of carbs, they're full of energy, so they live at the bottom and they will store forever. Below that, cook system, as you've seen on there, the small stove, some hexamine, a pot to boil and to drink out of, and a small spoon in there. At the front there, compass attached to the bag. If I'm exploring a new area, it gives me a way of working out where I am, how to get in and out. In the side pocket, there is also another compass, because it's attached to a ×4 magnification, monocular. Combining these two, I can work out distance, I can work out elevation, I can work out timings. Okay, that's another video entirely on its own. And then in there, some spare hexamine tabs, some wipes, some tissue. Simple as that. And that is a small day kit. That is literally gets carried. Oh, a little bonus on there. In that bag there is a mosquito head over net, because it's that time of year the little blighters are out. So that's what's carried in that bag. Also chuck in there odd nibbles, little bits and pieces like the Fig Newton bar. And at the back is a simple 12-hour candle. Okay, that's all that's carried in that bag. It's a one-day kit. I'm going for a wander, I'm going for a walk. I can chuck it over my shoulder. It's not particularly heavy. I can lug it with me. Anyhow, so that is the day bag. Back to the woods, guys. Back to the woods. Right. So, on top of that, what you can do is you can have your car bag. So this bag lives permanently in my car. It's a sturdy bag. It's waterproof. It does turn into a rucksack. Okay. It can become a flotation aid. It can become a way of storing stuff. It just keeps things safe. It's green. If I have then got to walk away down a road late at night or something, it's reflective. Okay, so it's an in-car kit. This is designed purely simply to leave in the back of the car, again for emergencies. Okay, and in that it's a very simple setup. In that I have one OEX cook system and stove with gas bottle. Okay, so there's a cook system, there's a stove, all in one. That's all in the bags, everything. I also have in there a selection of food, and that is another 24 hours worth of food. Okay, packed away in there. It's a waterproof bag, it's sealed. It tends to be boiled in the bags, biscuits, fruit. It's high carbs, it's high energy. I can then combine that with my day pack, and I've now got 4 days worth of supplies. So if it gets really, really bad, I'm okay. I've got a poncho in the day pack, which will also pack into here, and in the bottom, just an army issue tarp. Again, in most emergency situations with a vehicle, you're going to stay with the vehicle, but it may be too hot to stay inside the vehicle, or the vehicle may be damaged or in a position where you're better off rigging up a shelter alongside it or very close to it. That's where that tarp comes in. Okay, it also acts as a water collection device, many other uses. So again, it's just a simple in-car kit. And this small bag here, which lives in there, is my survival bag. So polymath survival tin, that lives in there. Selection of first aid gear in there, and also, excuse the vehicle coming past, a glucose gel. A glucose gel in case, not in case anybody with me is diabetic, in case I need an instant energy hit. Okay, so I've got a glucose gel, I've got some basic meds in there, I've got 3 soups, some instant coffees, 2 lighters, and as you've seen before, the lighters I buy have a built-in light. So again, I've got a light source. In the bottom there, I have a sturdy locking knife. Again, that's kept in that kit. It's dual bladed, has a rope saw that side. I have a siloom there, and a larger folding stove tucked down there, again with some hexamine blocks. And that's a slightly larger stove because if I had to, the little Fox stove's brilliant for using the hexamine, but it's not a go-to if you're going to use wood. That little stove there is a bit bigger, and it is a little wood burning stove. So again, if I run out of hexamine, I can go to that and start cooking with that. The polymath kit we've been through before, that's made by Polymath, and that is an all-in-one survival tin. Okay, there's everything you require in there for most emergencies, including it doubling up as a cook set. but I've already got a cook set there. Okay, so again, great bit of kit. If you're going to buy one, buy two. Buy one, experiment with it, play with it, use it, get to know how it works and how everything works in it, and then you've got the backup if you need it. So that all lives in there. So in an emergency, I'm in a situation where I've got a really difficult situation, I've got to bug out, I've got to walk home, I'm trapped in snow, I'm trapped in bad weather for a prolonged period of time. Between those two bags, I've got everything to keep me going for probably a week. Okay, it's going to keep me warm, it's going to keep me sheltered, it's going to purify water for me. Yes, I'm going to have to go to water collection, I'm going to have to boil the water, I'm going to have to filter the water. Okay, it's as simple as that. I would use my Shamag, I'd use whatever I've got around with to filter, then I would boil. Okay, there's no Puri tabs in there, purely simply because boiling is my preferred method, and I've got three in actual fact ready heat sources. I've got the gas stove with a large gas supply in there ready to go. So pretty much everything I require in there, everything I could need in an emergency. So that's my two bags. This lives in the car at all times. Okay, it's ready to go and is supplemented by my day kit. Okay, so it doesn't take up a lot of space, it's sturdy, it's reliable, gets you out the poo. Okay, so that lives in the back there. Also means if it's just a nice day out, I'm out with the missus, we stop in the middle of nowhere and we want to make a brew, we can do. Okay, so again, it's not always about survival, sometimes it's just about being able to enjoy the day, being able to spend that bit of extra time, being able to relax. You know, you're on a long journey home, it's early hours of the morning, you pull into the service station, it's shut. You're right for fuel, but what you actually wanted was coffee or some resources or some energy just to pick you up for the rest of the journey. You got it there. Stop, make your brew, have a coffee, have something to eat, have a walk around, do a little bit of exercise, get the blood circulating again, continue on your journey. It's little things like that that make life easy and happy. Okay. Then you can, if you wished, okay, you can go mad. Okay, so that normally lives in there. That tucks down the side there. Okay, so you can go mad. Long-term survival kit. Okay, again supplemented by both the previous bags, several cook systems, so on, so on, so on. Space in here to add more if you needed. Okay, so forest axe. And as you see, I've got plenty of space in there. Okie doke, long-term survival. So one of the things you've got to think about in long-term survival is your protein. Okay, so this is a simple long-term survival kit for gaining protein. Okay, first thing out is a Mora knife, great for filleting, nice and sharp stainless steel. Doing game preparation, dealing with animals and that, it's bright yellow. It's not going to be contaminated like my other knives. You keep this clean. This is purely for preparing food. Taped to the back of it, two self-weighted fishing floats. Okay, these are large bulky floats with quite a bit of weight on the end, so you can actually get them out a long way. This is synthetic worms in a flavouring. Okay, so I have a ready source of bait. 20-pound breaking strain braided line. Okay, makes brilliant sutures. Okay, you can use it for fishing, use it as fishing line, you can use it for tying off fine things, you can use it for sewing. great resource. I recommend you go to the fishing tackle shop and get it. And all this, what I call my hunting gear, sits in the bottom of my bag. Okay, it's another roll of braided line, 20-pound breaking strain. You can go heavier if you want, but I find if you go heavier, it tends to be a bit thick for manipulating, for making sutures and doing fine work. But you can make a hand line from that. Okay, my fishing kit, right, and there's two types of fishing. There's fishing for mammals and there's fishing for fish. Okay, so on there I have enough brass wire to make myself 25 good quality snares. Okay, that's 25 snares. Anybody that has ever tried rabbit snaring, which again I grew up doing as a youngster, will understand it's no good putting out one or two snares. You need to put out as many as you can. You work a trap line. So you set your snares up in your trap line and you manage that on a very regular basis. Okay, simple as. Now, one or two are not going to do the job for you. Same thing if you're trying to snare squirrels. Okay, you set up a trap line and you put out plenty and you manage them on a daily basis. That there, for any of you that are ex-military will recognise that, it's Don 10, okay, which is a very, very heavy duty wire wrapped in a plastic sheet. It has a 500-pound breaking strain. This is incredibly strong, okay, absolutely fantastic strong. It is used for setting up tripwires, so it's actually a tripwire wire. You can use it to run a current through, okay. You can also use it for making large snares for large game. This tripwire, okay, is immensely strong, and you can trap very large game with that. Okay, again, that would be illegal in the UK. I wouldn't use it in the UK unless it was a genuine survival or emergency situation. Small game such as rabbits, yes, you're allowed to snare those. I have some fine paracord there, which also goes with that. And this pack here, I have two ready-made snares. I have a wood saw. I have one of these kits, which is just a foil or a metal, what do you call it? Sort of credit card sized piece of stainless steel. And it has things like needles on it, little hooks on it, little saw on it. Now, these aren't the greatest quality, but in an emergency situation, there's an arrowhead. Okay, it's only a fine arrowhead. Okay, you could use that for trapping, setting up. The knife is absolutely pointless because it's got no edge on it. Okay, and it would be too flimsy for doing most things, but you could use that as an arrowhead. You've got needles on there. Okay, they are helpful and they're useful. I wrap a little bit of fishing line on there as well. Okay, and that way it gives me a resource there. But to improve my chances when it comes to fishing, and bear in mind we've been through snaring there, and every fish that we have in the UK is edible, including the chub, which tastes absolutely disgusting, but all fish are edible. So we open this up. Open it out carefully. Okay, okie doke. So, and again, as I say, open it out carefully. It's hooked on there, right. Hooks to nylon. So these are hooks already tied to a length of very fine nylon monofilament. Okay, that's a number 8 hook. Okay, and that is on. What's the breaking strain on that? So that's a 10-pound breaking strain line. Okay, so that gives you a hook link in there. There's a pack of 10. There's a pack of slightly smaller hooks, and they're hooks to nylon. And again, some even smaller hooks to nylon, but these have also got little hairs on them, and the hairs you can use to fasten to baits and that. so that the bait floats just above the hook. And if you're fishing for things like carp and that, they will come along, or bottom feeders, they will suck that up and it will come inside their chops, and you've got them. Inside there is a selection of weights, split shot, as well as some running shot, okay, or bombs. Those bombs allow me to fish on the bottom, and they allow me to put on a running rig. This is my fishing kit, and this is a hobo fishing kit. So basically on here I've got 50 metres of 10-pound breaking strain monofilament, okay, you've all seen them used before. I can take the line off, put the weight on, put the hook on, put the float on, whatever I want, throw it out, feed it off this way, and then you literally wind in by hand. It's a hand fishing kit. And also on there I have a predator system, so I have a dual set of trebles on a leader that is bite proof, so that if there's pike there, pike are a great source of food, love pike, and I managed to get some small bait fish, I can set that up and I can dead bait for pike. Okay, do understand that using this system for catching pike, it's going to be a fight, but at the end of the day you're going to want to gain your resources as best you can, and all that, including the hooks, is sealed inside this tub. So that's a long-term survival fishing kit. Okay, and it all packs away for me nice and sensibly. The hooks are all kept secure and dry, right, in something that means I've got my fishing kit all there, and I've got my mammal fishing kit there. Now, the other thing you also have to think about, if this was an absolute survival situation, and again it would be illegal to do it if it was not a genuine survival situation, is you can fish for birds. Okay, it's quite a cruel thing to do, but if it push comes to shove for gaining protein, what you can do is you can set up hooks on a strong line and bait those out for birds, whether you're using berries. Okay, so there we go. So there's your fishing kit. And like I say, when I talk about fishing, we're not just talking about fish, talk about mammals and birds as well. So you can set up snares, you can set up hook lines for catching birds and that. And remember that any protein is protein. So you know, even if it's a small bird, you wouldn't waste it in a genuine survival situation. You would use it. Squirrels, again, snare squirrels. It's not a huge amount of meat on a squirrel, but a couple of squirrels will keep a couple of people going for 48 hours quite easily in a stew. Okay, so that's my hunting kit there, and again, that's a low energy hunt system. Okay, so by the time you've made the snares, you've rigged the snares, you put the snares out, it's low energy, it's low impact. The same thing with the fishing, you want it to be low energy, low impact, so you can set lines out. Okay, hence you've got the paracord there, and what I would do is I would weight the paracord, drop it into the water at 45 degrees, and I would line that paracord with the nylons, hooks to nylon. Each one of those would be baited, so I'm covering multiple depths for the fish, and at the end of the day I can leave that fastened. It's paracord. It's not many fish are going to break that paracord, although they might snap the hooks to nylon. To snap the hooks to nylon, that's going to be quite a powerful fish, okay? But it's only going to break one. That's one fish getting away. A lot of fish swim in schools, so the idea is when you pull it in, you should have, with any luck, multiple fish on it. But it's a patience thing. So rather than finding yourself in a situation where you're walking up and down a bank, whether you're chasing the fish, you set up so the fish come to you. You try to trap the fish. Okay, next piece of kit out of the bag. Hammock. Okay. We'll get into this in next week's video with Mac's back. So hammocks. Right, to me the hammock is a hammock with a mosquito net is one of the best survival tools you can have for long-term survival. Yes, eventually using your axe and that you're going to build yourself a permanent shelter, but to start off with, this is a tool to have, okay? And we will cover that in next week's video. We were hoping to do it this week, but unfortunately Max had to go and deal with something quite urgent, so there we can't. DD tarp, okay? That's the XL. So that's a 4.5 by 3 metre tarp. Okay, so there's shelter, sleep system almost. Selections of pegs, lines and bungees. Bear in mind this is long term, so you're going to want to build a sturdy shelter. You're not going to be throwing something up for an overnighter. This might have to last you for weeks, maybe even into months. So it's going to, if you're sensible, it's going to be steadily improved upon as you go. Bottom of the bag, and this is kept inside a dry bag, and that dry bag then assists that your main bag in becoming a flotation aid. But in there, one sleeping bag, Gore-Tex bivvy bag. Right, change of clothes. Now, in that change of clothes, I'm literally running one pair of wool socks, one pair of underpants, right, and a set of merino wool thermals. Okay, there's merino wool thermals in that on my sleep system, so that I have dry, clean kit to get into pretty much every night. Socks and underwear, wash it and clean it on a regular basis and dry it overnight. Okay, but make sure that you've got something comfortable to get into every single night. That kit is kept dry. It's in 2 dry bags, so it's kept dry, because without that I'm in trouble. Right, it gives me a dry clothing system. If I'm going down and it's getting really cold and it's really wet, I can get my wet clothes off, I can hang those by a fire, I can drip dry them overnight, I can get into dry clothing, I can warm my body, I can get into my sleeping bag, my bivvy bag, I can shelter in that, and I can survive most situations. And again, the sleeping bag, it's a summer weight bag, British Army summer weight bag. Okay, don't need much more than that, because it's got the bivvy bag as well. And I'm also building a shelter, so again, you can improve on it. I've also got the poncho, so I've got lifting off the ground. I'm in a hammock, right? I can mummy myself, which is something we'll cover in another video. So using that, using the poncho, you wrap in the poncho, you wrap in the bivvy bag, you build up multiple layers to protect yourself from the environment. Okay, so we'll just get that out of the way. So that's shelter, sleep system, trapping. So you've got your shelter up, you've got your trap lines out, you've got your bed sorted. Okay, you're going to make your stay a little bit more long term, so you're going to need tools. You've already got the axe, which we've already covered. You're going to want a good quality survival knife, which will then live on your belt and your side all the time, and I do recommend the British Army survival knife. These are out there, you can still get them. They're no longer issued at all. Okay, so these are a finite resource. It will last you a lifetime. On top of that, I double it up with the Silky Big Boy. So I've got the Silky Big Boy, I've got an axe, I've got a large knife. I can split, I can trim, I can cut logs, I can pretty much build a log cabin if I wanted to. I've got all the tools there required for building structure. And that's that main section dealt with. On the side there, fire lighting kit. Okay, so if you're going on a long-term survival situation or shelter or camp, build your kit out. Ferrocerium rods, flint, steel, chemical fire, plenty of cigarette lighters, again with built-in torches. Okay, plenty of resources there for lighting fire, from simple to a bit more complicated. And the reason being, okay, if you've got your shelter up and you've got your places sorted and it's a pleasant enough evening, there's no panic and rush, use the flint and steel. Save the gas, save your ferro rod, save what you can. Hey, it's one of the problems in these situations is you use time management. Okay, you get bored very easy, time starts to drag on. So yeah, challenge yourself to light your fire using flint and steel. Okay, it makes a bit of fun, makes a bit of entertainment, it keeps you going. So, water collection, water filtration. Okay, This bottle's got a green band around it. Why has it got a green band around it? It's got a green band around it because that's my dirty bottle. Okay, so if I'm travelling, I come across a water source. Okay, I collect my dirty water in that. I know, because that's got a green band on it and it lives on the outside, that's not to be drunk. Okay, that's a water source that is dirty, waiting to be filtered. So that lives there. And this side is water source clean. Now bear in mind, as I said before, I've already got the day kit. Day kit's got my first aid in it, day kit's got a water bottle in it, and it will go into here. In actual fact, this is designed that that bag will drop into the top of this. Okay, so I'm always carrying other resources. Water. So open that bag, take that bag out. Here I have a Millbank bag. That's my filtration system. Okay, that filters the water for me. That takes out the particulates. Inside there, inside a spare water carrying bag, I have the Sawyer Mini system, and that's the complete system, including the cleaning syringe. A lot of people throw that away or they don't carry it with them. Okay, the filter's no good for you once it's blocked up. Alongside that, I also have water purification tablets and 4 sealable 1 litre bags. So again, I can purify water on the go, I can clean water on the go, I can filter water on the go. Okay, that lives in there. Yes, it's bulky, yes, it takes a bit of size, but at the end of the day, water is an essential thing to you. If you're going for a long-term survival situation, make sure that you have a way of supplying yourself with water. Okay, so there we go. We can filter water, we can collect water, we can put water into 2 clean litre bottles there. Also the bags, we've got a dirty bottle, so if I'm on the move, I can collect dirty water. That's a litre of dirty water if I need it. I've already got other cook systems, but I back it up with my favourite little pot. And in that pot I've got a selection of coffees, I've got some more sterilising gear, I've got sugar, okay, all packed in that. So far I've probably got about 15 days worth of coffee. Okay? And if you had to, remember things like the coffee bags, use it, okay, put it to one side, use it again later in the day, put it to one side, use it. Yes, it's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, but at the end of the day it's going to drag the coffee out for you. In there I've got another 7 or 8 days worth of supplies in food, and I've got it in very simple form. So I've got it in things like dried rice. I'm going to get it out because it will go everywhere. So I've got it in dried rice form, dehydrated form. So again, I'm going to need water to add to that, but I've got my trap line. Now, my long-term survival, my trap lines, my snares, they're going to be my primary food source. Everything that I've got in the bags and that, after the first 24 hours, everything that's left, I want to keep that back. That is emergency, that is go-to only. That is, oh dear, I've not caught anything for 3 days and I'm getting extremely hungry and a bit weak. I can drop back to that. Don't waste your resources. Start straight away, day one, on perfecting your resources. And please excuse me, I'm going to light a cigarette because it's turning out to be a long one and I haven't got a lot of time to do it in. So again, I've got my shelter built, I've put my fire pit in, I'm all sorted. Okay, I've got one small pocket-sized mobile cook system, but that relies on the Espit. I've got one slightly larger cook system, it's a twig stove. So now, in here, this is a single pocket, side pocket from a pair of OG trousers. Okay, simple, thin, light, easy to carry. And in here, spare spoon. Let's pair a couple of spare spoons. Spare Esbit. In here, I have a nice little simple system. wearing my sensible glasses to see what I was doing. Okay. There's a little fire pit. It's a little stainless steel Amazon special fire pit. The original grill that came with it I didn't like. I thought it was pants. And the reason I didn't like the original grill that came with it, because I thought it was pants, is because it was galvanised, and you do not want to breathe the fumes off galvanising. So I took basically what was a simple stainless steel, I think it was originally for a barbecue or something. It was a rack, cut it down, lives on there. It gives me a slightly larger cook system. Okay, the idea being, instead of messing with a twig stove, I can now cook larger things on it. Okay, so I've got my little stew pot I can put on it. I've got my coffee cup I can put on it. Okay, I could grill on that. If it was long term and I'm trapping game, I'm trapping meat, the lean meats, okay, meats with a very little fat on it, like things like rabbit and that, and this takes a little bit of time and effort, but I can use that to create a smoker above this, and I can smoke and dry meat. Okay, I can start thinking about preserving meats. I can start thinking about dehydrating things. A little fire in that, and I'm talking pretty much a smouldering smudge fire in that, a shelter over the top with a rack with leaves on it, and that collects the smoke, keeps the flies, the bugs off, it keeps the temperature up. Okay, and then at the end of the day you can smoke and you can dry things on there. So that's in that system in there. So I've got my shelter and I'm building my house and I've got my trap lines going, and again, look at everything as minimum energy. So you've got your trap lines going. Are you having to chase animals? No, you're not having to chase animals. Okay, you've got your fishing lines set. Are you having to chase the fish? No, the fish are coming to you. Brilliant. You've got your bird line set. The birds are coming to you. Okay, so you're starting to collect your proteins and that. You've got your fires. You've got multiple systems for cooking. You could get 2 of these going if you needed to. Okay, you've got the resources there. But you're getting back to an old system of being able to live alongside nature. Now, you're catching game and you're living off of game. So one of the things I want you to think about is all that game that you're getting is lean meat. It's low in fats. Okay, because it's low in fats and high in proteins, you could start suffering with something they call protein starvation. Okay, and protein starvation is basically where your body is getting too much protein and not enough fats and carbohydrates to help your body get or manage that protein. Okay, if you look at somebody that is on a very high protein diet, basically they will carry very little fat on their body. That's fine in a modern world where you can then add the right amount of carbohydrate, the right amount of fat to your diet to keep yourself healthy. But without those natural fats, without the carbohydrates, you start to go downhill. Hence you get a thing called protein starvation or rabbit starvation. Okay, don't ignore the fact that you need the protein. Take the rabbits, take the birds, take the fish, but you also need to then start looking at getting natural fats, oils and carbohydrates into your body to balance your system so that you don't go into protein starvation. And it's quite a simple thing with a little bit of learning. I'm not going to go into it in detail here, but you need to start learning what nuts, what fruits, what high oil products you can find, what you can harvest, what high carbohydrate plants, roots, tubers that you can harvest, that you can collect. And some of these, right, you can collect all through the year. Bulrushes can be collected winter, summer. Okay, the roots of the bulrush, absolutely high in carbohydrates, great for sugars and the rest of it. It's a go-to tuber. It's easy to use. Okay, as simple as that. It's a swine to collect because you're going to get wet. But at the end of the day, you collect it, you harvest it, you dry it, you can turn it into chips, you can turn it into a flour, you can use it acorns. Okay, so when you're harvesting, you're starting to look at long-term survival. You get acorns dropping. Okay, a lot of people say acorns are toxic. Yes, they're not good for you if you eat them raw. But you've now got your shelter, you've now got your home, you've now got your water sources sorted. So you start leaching your acorns, collecting your acorns and drying them. It's a long process, but you've got all the time in the world. So you start doing that, you start collecting them as a resource. They can be ground into flour, they can be used as a coffee substitute, they can be used as a high carbohydrate balancer. So again, you're balancing off that protein source that you're catching, drying and collecting. It's all a thought process. You can have all the kit in the world, but you've got to have the knowledge to go with it. Our ancestors lived like this for thousands of years, but the knowledge was passed down from old to young, okay, over many generations. Lessons were learned, systems were perfected, okay. In the last 150 years, we've lost most of these because we became civilized and we didn't need to use them anymore. You could go to the shop, you could buy, and you could afford to get what you needed. You didn't need to subsist, okay. And that's what that sort of living is. This sort of living, if you're going to go off grid or you're going to find yourself in a long-term survival system, is subsisting, not existing, okay. You are going to be constantly on the edge of starvation. You are constantly on the edge of failing, okay. You've got to have the knowledge to back it up. It's no good going, as if somebody asked me recently, would I like to do a loan? Not really. I'm a gregarious person. I like people and I like company. Existing like that, if I had to do it in a survival situation, I probably could, but I wouldn't enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure it would affect me mentally, okay. Especially if you're in an environment where there's high risk, things like bears and that, yeah, because on your own you're constantly worrying, constantly trying to keep your eyes open to protect yourself. You're constantly worrying in cold environments, is the fire going to go out tonight, okay. So again, I'd like to be in a multiple person survival situation. You can bounce off one another, share ideas. One person can carry so much knowledge, somebody else can bring in their arguments, their points of view, but it's got to be people that you're going to get along with and you're going to be able to work with. So yeah, that's my view on it. The skills are out there. Go, learn as much as you can, put it together. Long-term survival, yeah, it's a hard thing. But if the right people with the right mindset, with the right amount of knowledge and a basic kit, and this is a basic kit, as I said to you, this is a simple basic kit, you can take it further. In actual fact, only because I was doing it this morning, and I don't normally show this sort of thing on my channel, but I will show it. Okay, let's have this out. Now, before those of you poo-poo, comment and say, oh yeah, but I've got and I can do this, that and the other. Okay, I've done deer management, I've done wildlife management, I've done pest control, I've done vermin control. I've shot 2.2 rimfire, 1.7 HMR, treble 2, 243 and 308 for all these things, okay. What do I choose personally? Bear in mind I'm in a UK environment. We're not talking gun license, we're talking post-apocalyptic survival situation. I've had to go and live off of my own back, okay. I'm living in the wild. What do I choose? Okay, well, firstly I want simplicity, I want reliability, I want quiet, I want to be able to have a ready source of ammunition, okay. So for me in a survival situation in the UK, in an environment where I'm not worried about large predators and I'm not concerned about other armed people so much, a simple air rifle. And when I say simple air rifle, I mean a good quality air rifle, okay? Something that is going to take small game for you, okay? This air rifle I've used to take rabbits out to 35-40 yards with no problem at all. I can take squirrels with it, okay? I can take pretty much all the small game with it, right? No, I can't take a deer with it, but why would I want to take a deer, okay? Me, one or two other people, I can pop half a dozen rabbits off in an evening with this and keep us supplied with that. If I take a deer, what am I going to do with half that meat? Yes, you can say you can smoke it, you can preserve it, but the reality of it is, that's a lot of meat, it's a lot of hard work, and if it spoils, you've lost it. Take what you need and take what you can get. If I was in North America, somewhere like that, where you've got predators, you've got bigger game, and you've got say a tougher survival situation, as per my video the other day, I would probably go for a centerfire full bore rifle, okay? But again, I don't need that in the UK. I haven't got to protect myself from predators. The other bonus with this, they're relatively cheap to buy, okay? And the ammunition is easy to carry, doesn't make a lot of noise. Even the cleaning kit is an easy system. This air rifle is a break barrel air rifle with a gas ram with a power of 12 foot-pounds. Doesn't require a license, okay? It is safe to train with, it's safe to use because it is a limited backstop, but you've got to be aware of your backstop, okay? It takes a 10-shot magazine, okay? So all I've got to do is break the barrel and it automatically loads each shot. Okay, so that, for me, is what's going to provide me with enough small game to keep me going for as long as I require. Okay, the scope came with the rifle. It's a variable magnification scope. It goes from 3 times to 9 times. Most of my shooting's done at 3 times. Okay. You can get a larger front lens. If you get a larger front lens, it's better for nighttime shooting, but I tend to shoot at dusk and dawn, so I find that works for me. It's kept in a relatively padded case, or good quality padded case, to protect it. And this 12 foot-pound air rifle has accounted for several hundred grey squirrels and many hundreds of rabbits over the years. And again, it's not something you can just go and do. You've got to look at your local laws, make sure you've got permission to be where you are, and you've got to practice, okay? And I practice all the time. And my tool of practice is this. It's a simple knockdown target, okay? It has various settings so that you've got a smaller target, okay? And I normally set this up at about 35 yards because you've got to think of the effective range of that air rifle, okay? If you're going much over 40 yards, 45 yards, 50 yards, the energy of the pellet is dropped off so much, it's just, you're not going to get a clean kill. Anything sub 40 yards is not a problem, or 40 metres is not a problem. And basically this just sticks in the ground, pellet hits there, that falls back, next shot, pellet hits there, pops that up, okay? And that's what I practice with, okay? It doesn't matter what the target is, you could just go with a stick target, whatever you wanted. And that is what I practice, and I practice regularly, because by doing so it keeps my skills up. And again, what I do is about once every 2 or 3 months, spray that off with a bit of grey primer, spray those bright yellow, just a bit of cheap paint, yeah, makes it stand out so you can see it. And again, practice, 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 practice. So, there you go. I hope that makes an interesting video for you, covers my bags. Now, bear in mind, when I talk long-term survival, am I looking at doing long-term survival? Is that my method? No. This long-term survival bag is just something I put together last night, quickly using my kit to say, you know, this is possibly how I would think. I might make changes, but that is a basic put together kit if I suddenly had to do a long-term survival thing. Okay? Anyhow guys, this has been Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. I hope you found that interesting. I know, yeah, let's put it this way. It's just some ideas. You can comment, let me know what you think. Let me know how you would change it, what you would change up. There is no right or wrong to this, okay? Let me know what you thought. Am I carrying too many cook systems? Could I lighten it up? Sure as hell I could. I could adapt this as I went. But by combining those 3 kits, I think pretty much I've got everything I need to go set up a temporary shelter, use the temporary shelter whilst I'm building a more permanent shelter, move into the permanent shelter, and be able to subsist reasonably comfortably for a period of time. Guys, please like, subscribe, share, do all that funky stuff. Join us on a Sunday night at 2000 hours for our live chat. We can join me and the Hampshire Hog Hunters and loads of other guys. We chat about all things survival, prepping, bushcraft and so on. It's just a fun chat on a Sunday evening. Please join us. Other than that guys, these are just my ideas, and they're just thrown together ideas. It was an off the cuff thing. Be safe, have your adventures, have fun, love those you do, forgive those you don't, and as always, peace and light be upon you all. This is Mickey out.